Hello, my fellow creeps. Happy Sunday, and welcome to DadPooL's discussion. I'm your host, the one and only DadPooL, bringing you day 29 of DadPooLoWeen. Hope you guys are having a great day. If you guys are watching some football, or if you're tuned into some horror fests, some marathons that might be on TV right now, or if you're just relaxing and enjoying a Sunday with your family, by yourself, with your pets. Just make the most of it. Make the most of it. So, like I said, today is day 29. I can't. Halloween's 2 days away. It's crazy that I've been doing this for 29 days. I hope you guys have enjoyed it so far, because I know I have, because I've had a lot of fun revisiting these movies and being able to talk about them in this space. And the comments have been great. I love the interactions. We're gaining followers, which I would rather have active people talking than have all the followers in the world. So I appreciate the ones that are keeping that conversation going, stopping by the chat during the daily live streams when these get put out, and being true supporters and true followers. So if you have a chance, if you can look at my avatar, can you guess what movie it is? I mean, do you have an idea? I mean, came out in 2022. Yes, we're talking about Pearl. Was 2022. Let's just say A24 in general. And I know they're changing the way they approach things. I think they're going to go more mainstream and not going to be doing so much independent now, is from what I've read. Maybe they'll change their mind because they've been such a successful independent studio, bringing hit after hit after hit after hit. In 2022, they brought us X, starring Mia Goth, and then same year we got Pearl, which is the prequel to X, following the character Pearl from X. And then we have Maxine coming out, which is a sequel to X. Mia Goth is just taking over horror. I mean, I know Suspiria was a few years ago, but Infinity Pool, then X, then Pearl. Some may say she's one-dimensional and she can blah 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 blah. She is fantastic. She has that innocent yet killer look to her, where one minute she's hugging you and the next minute she's stabbing you in the back. and Pearl was no exception. Again, it was about an hour and 40 minutes, and to see this character's torment and stress that her family's putting on her, and the determination to want to be successful, it just all, being responsible for her father at a young age, not only taking care of a farm, but taking care of her father, who was wheelchair bound, who's kind of an invalid due to a sickness, and she just snaps. And when she snaps, it's like, holy, like, she is going full tilt, like Joker mode. And I know some people have called her called this like the Joker for girls film, like. But we'll get into the plot. Let's talk about the director, the writer, producers and get to the cast, and then we'll talk about the plot of the film, show some pictures that I created based off this film, and then talk about some future content, and then we'll close it out with a nice goodbye, and we'll let you enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening and getting prepared for Halloween. So again, this movie was directed by Ty West, written by Ty West and Mia Goth, which is her first writing credit as an actress type Hollywood performer. Produced by Jacob Jaffe, Ty West, Kevin Turin, Harrison Kress. Was released September 16th of 2022 with a budget of a million. You know, the box office only around 10 million, but it made its money back. And to me, that's a success. But the fact is, it's more of a success because post-release, and now people are maybe just watching it for the first time. It's getting that cult classic love, and it's going back. It's constantly being revisited. It's constantly in the zeitgeist. There's, you know, conversations about it. There's anticipation for the third film of this trilogy, and it's a very hype film. If you've seen X, that, I mean, it was a totally different movie. It was explicit, dark, gritty, sexy, psychological. Same with this movie. It had undertones of sexual undertones. It had that grittiness, but it had that bright color. The transitions from scene to scene, like when she's in the bathtub and then it transitions to the cornfield, like cinematically beautiful film, gorgeous. Again, the acting, unreal, and the gore. Just when it happens, it's a beautiful thing. It's not too excessive. It's not over the top. It's just a girl breaking, and you know. But let's get into it. Let's get into the cast, and then we'll talk about the plot. So we got Mia Goth as Pearl. We got David Corenswet, who is going to be the new DC Superman for James Gunn's new DC Comics universe. He plays the projectionist in the movie. We have Tandy Wright, who plays Ruth, Pearl's mother. Matthew Sunderland plays Pearl's father. Emma Jenkins Puro as Mitzi, Howard's sister, and then Alistair Sewell as Howard, Pearl's husband, who's off fighting a war, but we'll talk about that in the plot. So in 1918, during the influenza pandemic, Pearl is a young woman living with her German immigrant parents on their Texas homestead while her husband Howard serves in World War I. Pearl's father is infirm and paralyzed, and her domineering mother Ruth insists that she help care for both him and the farm. Pearl, longing for a more exciting life, is captivated by the film she sees at the local cinema and aspires to become a chorus girl, much to Ruth's disapproval. However, Pearl also shows signs of being a disturbed individual. For example, she kills farm animals and physically abuses her father. At the movie theater, Pearl meets a young projectionist who takes a liking to her. While riding her bicycle home, Pearl stops along a cornfield and begins to dance with a scarecrow. I actually have that image of her dancing with that scarecrow. So here's a picture of when she's in that field. It's disturbing, but so watchable at the same time, because she imagines that scarecrow is the projectionist, and she's pretty much satisfying herself. So like I said, she's fantasizing about the projectionist, and ends up, performing some acts with it, only for her uh, justification and her liking, her climax. When her mother realizes that 8 cents are missing from an errand Pearl did, Pearl is berated about being careless and has her supper withheld. Yeah, she's at the dinner table, and the mom's making a big deal about it, and she pulls her supper, and she's like, "Mom, I went to town, I did all the stuff for you. I'm hungry." She's like, "Well, too bad. If there's anything left over, you can have some tomorrow." Uh, Pearl's sister-in-law, Mitzi, tells her of an audition being held to find new dancers for a traveling troupe, which Pearl envisions as a way out of her circumstance. She later sneaks out of the house at night and visits the projectionist while showing her a short film called The Free Ride, which is an old stag film he acquired in France. He encourages Pearl to pursue her dreams. Pearl comments that she cannot abandon her family and that she wishes they would just die. And this is the beginning of the end for Pearl. And when I say beginning of the end, this is when her mind is at the breaking point. I think this is when she makes that decision of what she's going to be doing. So when Ruth finds a program Pearl took from the movie theater, the two get into a fierce argument over dinner, in which Ruth reveals that she hasn't noticed Pearl's disturbing traits. A physical altercation erupts, during which Pearl shoves her mother against the kitchen hearth, igniting her dress and resulting in Ruth suffering life-threatening burns. Pearl drags Ruth into the basement and leaves her father seated in the kitchen. She flees to the movie theater, where she has intimate relationship with the projectionist. And then in the morning, the projectionist drives Pearl back to the farm so she can prepare for the audition, and have an image of a Pearl outside the audition house with Mitzi. And he gets to the house, and he's walks up on the porch, and he's kind of turned off by the pig that's sitting out in the pan that's now maggot infested. A pig that Mitzi's mother left for Ruth the day before, and by inconsistencies Pearl has told him, as well as by her theatrical behavior. So she was saying, "Oh, there's a mess in the kitchen. Oh, the dog did it." And then when he questions about, the dog, she's like, "What dog?" And what's, she's kind of backtracks, and then he gets kind of nervous. He's like, I gotta go. So when he attempts to leave, Pearl flies into a fit of rage over his abandonment of her, and stabs him to death with a pitchfork before pushing his car with his corpse in it into a pond, where an alligator she has nicknamed Theta eats his remains. Pearl dresses herself in one of Ruth's lavish gowns, which is the red dress that we kind of see in the picture that she's sitting next to Mitzi, and dresses up her father before smothering him to death. So she cleans him up, gets him all dressed up, only to murder him. This, like I said, she's at her breaking point. So Pearl arrives at the church where the audition is being held. She gives a dance performance she feels will win over the talent scouts, but is devastated when she is rejected for not being young, blonde, or all-American. Mitzi accompanies her home in an attempt to console her. In the kitchen, Pearl makes a lengthy confession to Mitzi about her resentment toward Howard, who came from a privileged background but insisted that the couple remained on their family's farm, and admits she was relieved when she miscarried his child. She further confesses her feelings of alienation and insecurity, her joy in the acts of harm, and to taking the lives of her parents and the projectionist. Pearl then manipulates a stunned Mitzi into confessing that she won the audition over Pearl. Jealous that Mitzi won the audition, Pearl chases her down, and I have that picture right here. So we have Pearl chasing her down the driveway with an axe, kills her with it. Like it's such a scene that you hear Misty screaming, and Pearl is just calm, focused, and she knows what she has to do, and she doesn't break any character. She just is hitting stabs with the axe and swings with the axe, and boom, boom, and then she's finally down. She's pleading. Mitzi's pleading for her life, and Pearl puts her out of her misery. You then see Pearl dismembering Mitzi's body and feeds her corpse to Theta before going into the basement and lying down with the deceased Ruth, concluding that her mother was correct and that Pearl should make the best of what she has. She decides to remediate her wrongdoings by creating a comfortable home for Howard when he returns from the war. The next morning, Howard arrives unexpectedly. In the kitchen, he is horrified to find the bodies of Pearl's parents seated at the dining room table around the rotting pig at the center as a meal. And there's like the soup is, it's like a very disgusting table, disgusting scene. And that's when we see, and the movie ends with Pearl greets him with a hugely over-exaggerated pan smile, and she's just holding that. I would say for about 45 seconds to a minute, she's holding that smile, and her eyes are tearing up, and she's crying, but she's still holding. She's like, honey, I love you. You know, I did this for you. Like, it's just very. It's an action that someone who has extreme mental deficiencies and has some emotional health problems just displays. Like, and that's the way the movie ends, and it ends with the circle, like in the old Warner Bros. Cartoon ends, the circle just panning into her smile, which then brings us to the movie of X, because in the movie X, Howard and Pearl, they're older, and they have the farmhouse that the film crew that's shooting the movie that Mia's playing Maxine is filming, and and that's the events of X. It's pretty much Pearl and Howard murdering the crew, eventually tons of bloodshed, tons of violence, which will lead to the Maxine movie, which I really hope it comes out next year. So anticipated, so ready for this finale. So what are your thoughts on Pearl or Ty West's trilogy? Have you seen X? What's your favorite of the two? Let me know in the comments. To me, Pearl is a better movie. They're both great in their own individualities, but Pearl, I like that bright, vivid color that is displayed throughout this movie. X was more of a darker tone, which I know that's what they were going for, but I love the character that she played, and she can do it all. She can do all kinds of emotions. She can pull off happy, sad, disturbed, angry, psychotic, like it's, and not miss a beat. It's reminds me of like a Norman Bates, or like a Patrick Bateman. Like Patrick Bateman and Pearl would be a match made in hell. Like, it's perfect clash, not a clash, but a symphony of their own horrors. It would if I had to, like I said, if I had to compare Pearl to anybody, it'd probably be Patrick Bateman, just because of the way they both display their emotions and try to hide at the same time to other people, and then boom, once it comes out, it's coming at you like a freight train. So little nuggets about the movie. So we had Tandy Wright, who played Pearl's mother, was the intimacy coordinator on X and was offered the role of Ruth as the shoot on the first film was wrapping up. According to Ty West, she learned German for that role in a hurry and became so convincing in her accent that she fooled two German members of the crew. And again, like, not saying she was a great mother. She was very stern. She was very disciplined and overbearing and demanding. But look at the times. There was a pandemic going on similar to what we had to go through, and it's even referenced in the movie that when the projectionist says, with the masks, I can't tell whose face is underneath them, and it's true. It's similar to when we were going through it. The mask covered so much. So I like the way that they kind of played that into the film to highlight both scenarios of the influenza and then the COVID. It was crazy. It was a very good line. I David Cronin Sweat, like, I never knew who he was. When I heard he was become a Superman, I really forgot that he was in this movie, because you're so, like, Mia's character just takes over and she's the most memorable. So like when I rewatched it, I'm like, that's our Superman. He does look like a young Henry Cavill. Cannot wait for that. So Pearl's alligator is named Theta after Theta Bara, who was an American silent film actress and one of the cinema's earliest sex symbols. Viewers may notice a poster of Theta Bara is displayed on the exterior of the picture house that Pearl frequently visits, and the movie, I think, is Cleopatra, is showing in the marquee of the picture house. So another reference to Theta Bara, which that came out in 1917. So there are also several callbacks to the first film, X. Two were in the audition scene. First, Pearl stands on an X, marking her spot on the stage to start her dance routine. Then one of the members of the panel states that they're looking for someone with an X factor, which is how Wayne described Maxine and X on more than one occasion. Finally, when the projectionist was explaining the stag film industry to Pearl, he said that he planned on capitalizing early, which was the theme discussed in X between Wayne and RJ several times. So I love how these movies intertwine, not only because they're set in a specific timeline before or after each other. It's good to see that symmetry there, and it wasn't lost between both films, because sometimes when you have a trilogy that's trying to go in a certain order, whether it's starting in the present, going to past, and then back to present and the future, some things are lost, some things are forgotten, some things are just taken out of context and not chronologically properly discussed. So great job, Ty West. He has it all. He's an underrated director. Most people don't appreciate him because of the films he's done, but can't take nothing away from them. These were two of the greatest films of 2022, X and Pearl. So what do you guys think? Again, sound off in the comments, and when you're heading down to the comments to let me know what you thought about Pearl, hit that like button, share it out, hit the subscribe, and then tap that bell and turn that notifications to all, because you'll know when the next 2 days of DadPooLoWeen, when those videos will be coming out. You get those alerts. You'll get alerts of my new show coming after DadPooLoWeen, which will be debuting the first week of November. It's called DadPooL's Discussions Horror Here and Now, Then and Now, where I'll be discussing original films versus the remakes for in the horror genre. So the first one up is Hellraiser 87 versus Hellraiser 2022. And if you guys have seen these films, you know that different takes on Pinhead, just a different feel, different story, different action, different Cenobites. The box still looks kind of the same to a point. But yeah, I'll be discussing that. And if you want to come on and discuss it with me, head on in the description, follow me on Twitter X, drop me a DM and say, hey, DadPooL, want to come on? Let's talk about it. Or if there's a horror franchise that you want to talk about that has a remake and original that maybe you liked or loved and you want to discuss that, definitely reach out to me. We can make it happen. Or if you're more of a holiday guy, holiday person, I should say, and you love Christmas horror, I'll be doing 25 days of Christmas horror starting December 1st, where I'll be discussing and reviewing, much like I'm doing on DadPooLoWeen, holiday slashers and, Christmas dark movies. Like dark themed. Doesn't have to have a lot of blood, just delivers that Christmas message with like a scary, disturbing twist. And if you want to come on and you have if you're an independent director and you have a movie that you've done that's Christmas themed, like I said, hit me up on either Discord. My Discord's in the description, or hit me up on Twitter X and send you out the link when we do the stream, and we'll discuss it, promote your work, promote your channel, and whatever future projects you got going on. It'll be a fun time, fun discussion, which leads to January. And if you check my YouTube community post, I got a poll up there for my new logo for the channel and for the podcast. So here's the 3 pictures you can choose from. You can vote on. You can vote on this one right here, DadPooL's Discussions. Simple, 2 mics, 1 DadPooL. That's what I call it. And then you have DadPooL's Discussions, more of a podcast setup with the mic and whatnot, the monitor. And then I have this one here. So it's got the mic, it's got the little stand, the little camera, like I'm doing a TikTok or something. So speaking of TikTok, go follow my TikTok, because I usually put out the advance notice of what I'm reviewing the following day. So make sure you hop in the description to get that link. Click over there and follow. When you're following, follow on Twitch. Make sure you follow on Kick, Facebook, YouTube, anywhere that I'm out there. If you can drop a follow, I'd be much appreciated. It'd be amazing. And lastly, let's get into some pictures that I created for this specific movie. So, of course, I have the avatar, which is a mix-up of supposed to be DadPooL and Pearl. So I have that one. I have this one here, where DadPooL with the axe, and it says Mia Goth's Pearl up above. And which I really like that picture. And then this one right here, where it's like DadPooL's taking a picture of Mia Goth. That's what came up. Don't know. Again, it's Bing AI, so it's what you type in. It tries to create the best it can for you. And I've had a lot of fun with each movie that I've done for this month to make an image featuring myself inside the movie, or with the characters, or dressed as the characters. If you go back to every review for this month, you'll see that I had a character for the movie, or some sort of image. So it's just another level, another way to get the point across, to get your content a little bit different from everybody else. But so I'll be doing more of that. So yeah, again, tomorrow, day 30. And then Halloween, I'll be doing a live cast. It's going to be like a simulcast stream on both my channel and my son's channel for Trick or Treat. And you'll get to see us dressed up. You get to see my dog in her costume, which is, she tried it on yesterday, and I'm surprised it fit her well. and she looks really, really good, guys. So can't wait to show you. So make sure you, again, like, follow, subscribe, hit the bell, and you'll know when that live happens. And then later that night will be day 31. And if you guys haven't guessed what that movie is, it's really popular on Halloween. I'm just gonna say it. It's really popular on Halloween, so it's a staple every Halloween since it came out. I watch it. So that's my day 31, but I'm not gonna tell you exactly until we get into the video. So tomorrow's day 30, then day 31, and then I'll take a few days off. Maybe I'll post some little shorts here and there, and then next weekend starts Dad horror then and now. So a lot going on in the channel. So again, if you could just do me a favor and just follow, subscribe, and hit the bell. And if you can, share it out as well. Share out the stream. Share out the channel. So before I go, this one I always have my two things I want you guys to do for me before, for the day, for the night. One, watch a movie. Maybe you'll watch Pearl. Maybe you'll watch X. Maybe you'll watch an AMC Fear Fest. There's always something good on. I don't know what's on right now. Let's see if I pull up AMC and see if I can tell you what's on right now, and if it'll show me what's on later as well. But yeah, there's all kinds of movies out there. Different apps. You can Pluto. I'm gonna get them sponsored here. They have the best content. I think they have the best 24/7 content. Looks like Halloween. It's a Halloween marathon, all the way up to Fear the Walking Dead tonight. So if you like Halloween, H2O, and my favorite, Resurrection, go check it out on Fear on AMC. But yeah, go watch a movie. There's tons on Tubi. You can watch them on Freevee, or if you have access to any of the streaming services. Everyone has an extensive catalog, whether it's Netflix, Peacock, Paramount, Shudder, HBO Max. They're all gonna have their horror content. Some good, some bad, some indifferent. But enjoy a movie and hug your loved ones. So until the next video, until tomorrow, my little creeps, my little DadPooligans, my pooligans. This was day 29, and we were talking about the movie Pearl. Came out in 2022, starring the amazing, electrifying, gorgeous Mia Goth. And I'll see you in the next video. I love you. Have a great night.